So this morning I am going to be actually going over a sermon I prepared for the 10 a.m. service, which I do every week, obviously, but then when I preach. But in this case, we're having a children's day in church at the 10 a.m. The children won't be going to Sunday school, but will be sitting in church with us. And I'll be inviting the children to come forward to hear a sermon that I prepared, which I'm going to read to you. But in this case, since there aren't any children to come forward at the 8 o'clock, I want you to sort of listen in a unique way. When children are present, there seems to be this wonder that fills the air. It's something that's infectious, and it can sort of open your heart and open your mind to hearing things in a new way, hearing sort of simple messages that can really connect with you deeply and remind you of that space you can be in. Jesus actually talks about it a lot in the text of this wonder that children have. So I ask you to sort of approach it that way. It obviously won't be too long because I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. And that's the fun of doing children's sermons. You never know what's going to be said. So that being said, let me go ahead and introduce the sermon. So today, in today's gospel, we have this story of the disciples at the temple with Jesus, and these disciples are walking around speaking about how wonderful this temple is. I mean, that's really what they mean. This is just amazing. And Jesus is, in response, saying that the temple will fall. And so my first question to you is, where is God in this gospel? Where is God in this story? Well, this is where they answer. But you might be running through some ideas in your mind. Well, I'm hoping to hear the words Jesus. God is Jesus. And so Jesus is right there walking with them. But why is this so important? It's because 2,000 years ago, when they were walking by this temple, the temple was a place where most people thought was the place where people could come in close and be in relationship with God. It was that sacred space. And it was really only in that sacred space that you could really have that one-on-one connection with God. And here in today's gospel, God is walking with the people. God is right there alongside his disciples. So my second question, where is God in our lives? Where is God in your life? Where is God today? With this amazing coming of Christ, where do we find God? So the next question, if nobody wants to answer, no. We've been talking a lot about stewardship, and I just wanted to ask, what is stewardship? And where do we find God in stewardship? And there's going to be a variety of answers, but in our giving of our time, of our giving our service, of our giving our money, we give to the opportunity of us coming together as a community, which empowers us to do good works, to be of service, to go out into the world. And being of service with others and helping others is where God is in our lives. In today's gospel, Jesus also talks about these birth pains, these nation rising up against nation, and earthquakes coming. And just recently, there was a Hurricane Sandy, that hit the East Coast. It was devastating. So where is God in Hurricane Sandy? Where do we find God in that? And we find God in the tremendous amount of outreach that is happening to help the people that were affected. We find God in the communities coming together, strengthening that community, rebuilding that community. Things that we don't get to see because we're over here. We might see it on the news, or we might hear it from friends and family that are over there. But we hear these stories of communities coming together, and it's in that presence, it's in the community, it's in the people where God is present. So Jesus wants us to know that no matter what's going on in our life, difficult times that we might be having, difficult things that might be going on around us, God isn't just present here in this church, although God is abundant and present here. God is out in the world. God is out in the world, within us, working through us, and in the communities that we're in. That's where we find God. So I'd like to close with a prayer. Will you pray with me? Jesus, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being with us in good times and bad. Thank you for our communities and our families. Thank you for your love. We love you. Amen.